205 Rallye. How do they actually drive? Yeah! Throw it through some corners. The way it revs.
You're gonna have that crap.
Yeah.
It wants to impress.
Best car for heel and toe. I am flat out through here. It's so comfy. Encourage you to just throw it around. Hello world, welcome back to Accelerate. Now before we get stuck in, as much as we hate to do it, don't forget to drop us a like and subscribe. The more support we get from you guys, the more opportunities we get for amazing cars like this.
Yeah, now back to the car. This is Ryan's 205 Rallye.
Yes, now this is an interesting one for you.
Yeah, it really is. Now, my very first car was a 1.4 Peugeot 205 in white. So,
oh, yeah, it was white.
Yes.
So this is going to be interesting.
I can't wait.
Let's get stuck in. The 205 was introduced in 1983 as a supermini by the French manufacturer Peugeot. The 205 Rallye was then introduced in 1988 as a homologation car to allow Peugeot to enter into the Group N1 sub-1300cc rallies. To power the 205 Rallye, Peugeot took their 1.1 TU engine, bored the cylinders out to a total of 1294 cc's, fitted a more aggressive camshaft and installed twin Weber carburetors. This pushed the power output to 102 brake horsepower, which I needn't remind you in a sub 800 kilogram car was more than adequate. That's right, the 205 Rallye was stripped of most of its sound deadening and fancy electric equipment such as a stereo and speakers, bringing the total weight to around 794 kilograms. In 1992, Peugeot introduced a UK version of the 205 Rallye, and although it was a lot rarer than the European spec, with only 500 units being produced in white, Peugeot decided not to give the UK market the heavily worked on 1.3 litre engine, instead making a setup for the Iron Block 1.4 TU 3.2 engine. Now, you may be thinking, great, more engine displacement, more power, right? Unfortunately not. The 1.4 TU engine only churned out 75 brake horsepower compared to the European 102 brake horsepower. Ryan's example we have today is the UK spec and is actually for sale. If you are interested, I will leave the link in the description below to contact Ryan and you could be owning this amazing machine. I'm still convinced that the 75 brake horsepower will still be enough to put a big, old school fun smile on my face, so let's find out. So guys, you join us out on the road in Ryan's Peugeot 205 Rallye. I can't believe I get to say that. So first of all, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan for giving us the car for the day. He literally gave us the keys and just said, yep, bring it back whenever you're done. Now, I'm sure all of you watching this will be aware of the legendary 205 GTI. Most of you are probably aware of the 205 Rallye, but I can almost guarantee that all of you will be wondering, how do they actually drive? Now, we're talking about a 1980s hot hatch in 2023. Now, anyone that knows anything about these cars, the GTI was always referenced as one of the best handling front-wheel drive cars of its time. And I've always been curious, because this is one car I've never actually driven. And the Rallye is obviously, it's a more stripped out version than the GTI. There was a good 100 kilo difference in a car that weighed nothing anyway. So initial impressions, I'm very fortunate. I had to pick this up from Ryan from Swansea, which is a good over an hour drive from our shooting location. So I feel like I've got quite well acquainted with this car already. And it's an old Peugeot hatch. I was expecting it to be very rough and ready when you're driving it normal, but the thing that surprised me, I was on the M4 for a good hour. It's so comfy, and that is one thing the French really know how to do with their little hot hatches. Now, I've owned a few Saxos in my time, and before I ruined them with track mods, lowering them, bucket seats. They were so comfortable. Now with this example, I am sat on the half leather Peugeot 205 GTI seats, which again is very surprising because you sink into them. They are so comfortable. You do have the good bit of bolster support on the sides, but at no point in my hour-and-a-half sort of drive did I feel uncomfortable, which in a hot hatch of this age is mind-blowing. So I'm driving through these little streets now. You are holding on to this very thin, old school, non-airbag 3-spoke wheel with the amazing Talbot Sport logo in the middle. No power steering in these, but this is the lightest car steering wise that hasn't had power assistance that I've ever driven. The pedal positioning, this is by far the best car for heel and toe, and because of the peppiness and the response of the engine, heel toe downshifting is an absolute pleasure. So 75-ish horsepower, coming into a national speed limit. Let's see what she can do. Oh, nice throaty sound, and the way it revs. Wow. Wow. Very, very rev happy little engine. These cars will never break your neck going in a straight line. They'll never break any records. But it does encourage you. I mean, it was happily revving all the way out. And it's one of those cars, you're doing about 60 mile an hour, you feel like you're doing 120. And I mean that in a good way. Now, on the way down, up to 70, it was okay. You can cruise at 70. Anything over that, you really start to feel it. But even I can't stop smiling. I knew this was going to happen in this car. This car is just making me feel, is bringing back the thought of just, this is what driving is about. And it does sadden me that petrol heads of a younger generation that are only used to modern cars, they're less and less likely to get the feeling of taking a car that is literally you, an engine, 3 pedals, and away you go. We get to drive a lot of cars up and down these roads, but very few have made me feel like I'm directly connected to the mechanical parts. This example is far from immaculate, but that's what makes me want to take it out and have fun in it as was intended. I imagine too many rallies will be parked up in a garage and never driven, which is a real shame. Now, going back to the interior on this thing, it is an 80s hatch and it feels like an 80s hatch. Now, I'm not a big lad at all, but I feel big in this interior. But everywhere you look, I mean, you literally feel like you're in a tin can. I don't think there's a better definition. I mean, just look how thin the doors are themselves. I can reach over and touch the other door. That is how small this thing is. But I did actually jump into the back, and it's even comfy in the back. I don't know how the French do it. They manage to take something so small and make it so spacious inside. They really make the most of the space. And again, on the way down, I was driving next to a Citroen C1. And I looked at that thing thinking, wow, that looks quite big. So the acceleration isn't great pulling up the hill, but the pep, the response of that engine just puts a smile on your face. The steering is a little bit wallowy on center, but once you go into the corner, once you start putting weight on, that lack of assistance really comes through and gives you a real feel for what the front end is doing. Now, coming up these roads, normally we get nervous that something's going to catch or scrape, but because of the Rallye design on this, you've got the ground clearance, and it gives you the confidence to absolutely push through. You can literally drive this car 10/10. Throw it through some corners. Oh, we got a bit of lift off there. Oh my God, I am flat out through here. Now, although you are losing a bit of traction under the front, this would benefit from better tyres. And the suspension is a bit wally, again, because of the Rallye design. But my God, if you want to drive a car 10/10s, get a 205.
Man, this is weird.
Back in the 205.
It's been so long, but it's just mad how basic and small it is.
Yep. Was the last time was it literally your car the last time you were in a 205?
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Mine was a little bit more luxury than this, though.
Yes.
I say luxury. It had electric windows, it had a sunroof, aircon, I had cruise control.
Aircon?
Of course, no, I'm just joking.
I was going to say, got me that time.
Yeah, as I say, these things are very basic. Oh,
Even with the Rallye, they stripped out all of the sound deadening and everything. I say they knocked 100 kilos off the GTI, which was never a heavy car to begin with.
I was going to say, it's light and nimble anyway.
Yeah.
But this been on 165 tyres, and were they high flies or something?
High flies. So, as I said, it would benefit from better tyres, but it's still, you can feel the lightness of it, and it does encourage you to just throw it around. Watch you don't tip over now.
I know, and it'll be down the mountain, no. Yeah, let's flash it up. Oh, these lights and everything, man, this dash. As I said, memories. I had the GTI interior in mind.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, a little story with mine. I used to tell everyone it was a GTI.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was only young, Jane. I even had, on the back window, I had Fastas. Yeah, no.
He was that type of guy.
I was lying, obviously, because it wasn't. But, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm curious to see what you think of it. So this is the same engine, essentially, that was in yours, because it was basically taken out of the XS. And the differences with the original Rallye, they did a lot of work to that. With this one, I don't really think they did anything, because it was the UK market. They were sort of like, nah.
You're going to have that crap.
Yeah, they really didn't want it as good as the European one.
The throttle's so sensitive
It
as well.
is. It's so responsive.
You know, it's not a single carb.
Yeah, yeah. And I said, you know, because of the Rallye design, you're not worried about it catching or anything?
No, you know,
the ground clearance is insane.
I'm just going to bounce down the road. No, let's... Yeah! Wow, that clutch is quite high. Man, this is fun. It's mad though, isn't it? Where's the brakes?
Yeah. Oh yeah. As I said, the brakes, they are 30-year-old brakes and they feel it.
I feel about 40.
Is it? Yeah.
But no,
you really got to get into it.
It's part of the character though.
Yes.
I had a Fiesta trying to chase me down there then, which is quite funny. Yeah, just even the throttle response is so sharp,
isn't it? It's eager, isn't it? It just really wants to go.
It's really peppy. The engine's really, really peppy. It's the only way I can really describe it. But even the speedo needles bouncing, it's cool, man. I love this thing. Let's see what it does on the way back up.
See, it's trying, isn't it? It really is like...
It wants to impress you, doesn't it?
But it's just like, use me, use all of me.
Yeah, it likes the rev as well. That's just, I don't want to rev in that surface, so I'm taking it up a little bit, but you can feel it wants to impress you, right? Don't get me wrong, I've been up here quicker on a push bike.
Yeah, I think that this rivals the Twingo. In the sense that this is probably the lowest horsepower car we've done.
That's right, actually.
But it's mad, again, like this feels more engaging, more alive than the Twingo.
It does, yeah. It's definitely more fun, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, my first car was a Nissan Micra K11 SI. Now, that was the same power, 75 brake.
Yeah.
But you felt a lot safer in that. It felt a lot more refined.
Safer than a Micra.
Yeah, I know. And that's how you know something is not the best.
But no, as I said, whoa, that steering's very, very lazy. But no, I say it's a fun, quirky little car. Do you mean don't get me wrong, the GTIs back in the day, the 1600, the 1900, they were quick cars back in the day.
Yeah.
So obviously this being a 1.3/1.4 version of it.
1.4.
Yeah, it's still not, anywhere near competitive as something like that, but...
No, because of the homologation, obviously they were limited.
Yeah, that's right. It probably makes it a bit more rare, I'd imagine, than the GTI.
Yes, I think it is. I'll have to double check that, but I think it is actually a rare one. But it's just this one, you've got no stereo, there's no sound system or anything.
Nah.
And this is factory. They factory with no sound system.
This is nuts.
But I think what we got to remember, what I kept forgetting is, it's a bit wallowy. It's a rally car. It's based on a rally. It's not meant for grip on the road.
True, that is a good point.
I would love to take this thing on gravel and I reckon it'd be wicked fun.
Class. But it's like even the suspension, it takes everything so well because it's so high and it's got really good travel on the suspension.
And that's why driving it normal, like I said, I've spent a couple of hours in, and I'm not mad, and I've got to drive it back and I'm just not mad because it's just comfy.
The seats are really comfortable. Yes. I had a full leather in mine. Well, I think it was pleather or leather, plastic. So, but even that, they are just quite, even with me in it, it feels quite supportive.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm on your lap pretty much.
I was going to say, it was always good for girls back in the day, if you want to get close.
Yeah.
I was 17 when I had 19. But this is just cool, man. Like I said, fast? Nope.
No.
But fun? Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Put a smile on your face.
Yes. The 205 Rallye.
Yeah, now what a cool little day in here.
I know, this is, now ever since, I've known Ryan for a while, ever since he bought this, I just thought, I was hoping and praying he'd let us do a video on it, because I just wanted to drive it.
I know, but he was quite surprised that I wanted to do it as well.
Yes.
But as soon as you said about it, I was just like, yeah, let's do it, man.
Yep.
I mean, like I said, memories for me, and being back in that seat, oh man.
And for me, it was just a case of, this is the essence of driving. If you want to understand what driving is all about, like just the feeling of throwing a car around and you being in control completely. I mean, there's no assistance or anything on this car with anything.
No. My one recommendation, if you are going to do that though, try and find some flat roads. Don't take it up a hill.
With two of us in it as well, probably not the best.
Exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's never going to pull your face off going up a hill. But throwing it around some roads, that is where these things come alive. And I would love to take this thing off road because, as I said, it's a rally car, but it's designed to be a rally car.
We got the keys.
Yeah, that's
right. Nah, just joking.
But again, we could talk about this for hours.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this car. I think it really has. It's got a charm of its own. I think it's won us both over.
Yeah. And a lot of people even parked up. They just checking it out. They're all looking at it.
Yeah. So, you just don't see them anymore.
Cool.
So anyway, thank you once again to Ryan for throwing us the keys and giving it to us for the day.
Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Woo!
I hope it didn't go boom. That's what happened to mine.